Namaskar and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amrita. I am a personal development and emotional wellness coach. I help people design their lives in the best possible way to help them achieve all the success and happiness that they want from life. With that quick introduction, let's straight away get into today's topic. So, a few weeks ago, actually, I had made two videos, and one was on how to get away from toxic relationships, and the other one was on how to build long lasting and beautiful relationships. So, in both those videos, I had emphasized on how it is important to discard your ego and not compromise on your self respect. So, a lot of people gave me some comments and I got some feedback, which made me realize that to a lot of people, self respect and ego are one and the same thing. But in reality, they are not. They are very, very different from each other. So, in today's video, I'm going to try and help you understand the difference between self-respect and ego and why you can discard ego without compromising on your self-respect. Without further ado, let's get started. To begin with, let's first understand what is self-esteem, because that is something which I would say forms the basis of both self-respect and ego. Person, you, me, everyone, we actually have a certain kind of understanding about ourselves. And we see ourselves at a certain platform in context with how the world sees us. So we attach a certain kind of worth, a certain kind of value, and we expect the world to give us that value. And that is self-esteem. Is it a bad thing? Not at all. Because self-esteem is where you start to understand what is your true worth, and that helps you know where you stand in context with the world, in context with your relationships, at your job, everywhere. The self-esteem helps you value yourself. But when you get caught in this evaluation process with the world, what happens is that you sometimes depend too much on the external validation. And on days when you get the validation, you feel great, you feel happy. But come a day when you miss out on that validation, or if someone negates you, or if someone puts you down, your self esteem either crumbles or you feel totally worthless, as in you actually feel horrible from within. Or it could go the other way. You might start feeling very angry, and it could make you feel very agitated. In these both cases, you understand that the reactions are extreme. You don't need to feel agitated or horrible and disturbed from deep within if you have self-respect. So, what is self-respect? Self-respect is acknowledging exactly who you are and knowing where you stand without feeling the need of any external validation, because you are enough to value yourself. So in a relationship, what happens is that if you have a lot of self-esteem, you would want your partner, or you would want the other person in any relationship. It could be in the professional relationships, it could be in the personal relationships. You would want your other person to give you that worth, give you that value when you have a lot of self-esteem. A person with self-respect would expect it, but would not demand it. There's a difference, right? So what happens when you have self-respect is if you don't need that constant validation from the other person. At the same time, you don't even look out for it, which makes you a happier person because you are content by yourself. But a person with a lot of ego will not be able to get rid of this need for that external validation. A person with a lot of ego will feel that constant urge to prove himself correct, because if you don't allow him to make that point and have that last word, his self-esteem is horribly destroyed. So he feels that urge to prove himself every time there is a conflict, or even when there is no conflict, the person might feel that need to get that external validation. And that's what ego is all about, where you are constantly requiring other people to feed that emotion in you, which is actually coming from a place of crisis. A person with self respect do not come from a space of crisis because they know who they are and they don't seek any external validation. But a person with ego is actually coming from a space of very, very little self worth. And that is the reason why they want it from other people, because it validates what they are doubting. So, if you want to discard your ego, the first thing what you need to do is accept yourself just the way you are. You need to know your own strengths and weaknesses, and you need to understand where you can improve and what all you need to improve. That's the reason a person with self respect is never shy of taking criticism in the positive way, because they want to improve. But a person with a lot of self esteem and they need their ego to be fed, too much of self esteem is what leads to ego. They are never open to criticism because they feel that they are just the correct person and they are whatever they're saying is valid, is correct. And if you don't feed their ego, if you don't fan their self esteem, then hell breaks loose. So you do not want to confuse between these two. Please understand that it is perfectly possible to have a good self-esteem without having any kind of self-respect, and you just don't want to be in that space whatsoever. So I hope I have been able to clarify the doubts a bit in this video. If you want more such videos, don't forget to leave your request in the comment box. If you have any specific question, do not hesitate to write that either. Do connect with me on all my social media platforms. I'm going to leave the links of those platforms in the description box below. I promise you, I answer all the questions personally. With that, I come to the end of this video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you have liked the video, and hit the subscription button if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet. I promise you, subscribing to this channel will be a good investment, will be worth all the time you spend over here. Thank you so much for all the support that you have shown so far. That's all for now. Bye bye and namaskar.